Alrighty, in this segment we're going to look at the if statement, and we're going to be utilizing this to identify things in a conditional situation. So if we take a look at the objectives here, we're going to look to see what a if statement is and what it comprises of, understanding how flow control works with the if statement, look at the syntax structure, using some optional components or variables, evaluating it with relational operators. So the if statement's purpose is this. So it's going to be, again, utilized for flow control, and it's going to be setting up for a responsive and dynamic design in your program. So we'll take a look at how that works. So it enables then to run a specific block of code if a certain condition has been met. So clearly it's going to be made up of a certain logical conditions. Depending on the evaluation of condition, the block of code is going to be executed. So the syntax is going to be something like this. So it's going to begin with a keyword if, followed by some kind of condition, and then ending with a colon. Then the next line is going to be followed by a indented block of code to identify that that is basically part of the if structure. Once it executes, it's going to execute the condition only if it's true and execute it once. There's some additional parameters and syntax structure to it. We could also utilize a if, so else if, and a else clause can be also utilized. So we'll see that in a subsequent video, which is able to handle multiple type of conditions. So the best way to understand and help you write your code is creating a flowchart. So these are some of the basic dynamics of flowcharting. So we'll have certain symbols to identify what's happening. So in this particular case, we have a test expression, and this test expression is identified in a form of a diamond. So diamonds are going to be decision-based evaluations. Then we're going to have our block of code, depending on the test expression, if it's going to be a true evaluation, and then statements after the if. So meaning something like this. So we have a test expression, we have if, whatever our expression is going to be here, followed by that colon. And then we're going to have our statements of code, and after that is completed, and you got to make sure that this is nicely indented. And after it executes, if the condition is true, then it will continue on with statements thereafter it. If the condition is basically false, this block of code then is not executed, and the pathway goes around it and then continues on with the if statement. So then this is not executed at all. So here's an example of a if statement. So we've set up basically a single variable, z is equal to 17, and this particular syntax, if z %$ is equal to 2. So basically this is evaluating to see if we have a remainder, and if that remainder is going to be 0. So if it is, then the print that z is even. So this is a cool way to identify if a number is odd or even. After that, if the condition was basically false, clearly this statement will not evaluate or get processed, and it will just basically move on to this particular statement afterwards.